China and Africa can work together, can produce soybeans to feed their own people, and they export soybean to China. Okay, now I can get money to reduce poverty. China can get stable and diverse soybean supply. That is a win-win collaboration.
Many of America's farmers already feeling the pinch are worried about the possibility of more challenges.
Because I know how hard this is going to be for a lot of people.
I got to farm with my dad every day. It's a way of life. It's a wonderful way of life. And it's at risk. And it shouldn't be.
Imagine waking up to a world where China and Africa have quietly built one of the biggest soybean projects the world has ever seen.
This is crazy because I'd done a video about this already with the other American guy that was crying. So please go watch that. And also subscribe to Africa Vibe News. These guys are putting out amazing content, guys. And I know a lot of it is done by AI, but the quality of the content is on point because it's very informative. And this is a trend that while a lot of people might look at it as a disaster, especially the American farmers, I see a massive opportunity for win-win, where the Americans can still work with the Africans. Let me explain to you how. When opportunities dry up in one part of the world, they open up in another part of the world. But one thing I know for sure is that there's still some brilliant Americans that are out there that will see the win-win in this opportunity. So check this out. If you're in a country, an African country that farms soybeans, and I know South Africa is one of those countries, and you have all this land that's available for farming soybeans, you can still reach out to the American farmers that already have equipment that are losing opportunities to you and do a collaboration there. So maybe you might have the land but not have the combine harvesters, and you don't have the right equipment to farm soybeans. Why not reach out to the American farmers that are going bankrupt and offer them a deal? You offer them to use your land, import their equipment, they're farming on your land, and you do a profit sharing situation right there. That's a win-win. They get their residency maybe for South Africa, and then they get a beautiful quality of life in a small farming town in South Africa. That's what we call a win-win right there. So while you might be tempted to laugh at that guy who was crying, let me show you this guy right here. Where is he? It was an American guy who was crying. This guy right here. While you might be tempted at laughing at this guy, don't be laughing at this guy because this guy's about to lose everything. There are plenty of guys just like this one. Right? Maybe not plenty, but there are a few guys like this guy who's pretty sharp. They understand that they still gotta survive, and live and make money and support their family and stuff. So even if it means relocating, they'll take that offer. But it requires you, who's already in the soybean business, soybean farming here in Africa, to make that a reality, to help facilitate that conversation. I'm not a soybean farmer, I'm just a businessman, but I see the opportunity in this. How you can do it is by running TV commercials or promoting online that you want to reach out to people like this one that are losing everything in America. Not all of them, but some of them will take you up on that offer. How do I know this? It's very simple. When Zimbabwe was going through issues 25 years ago with farmers that were being chased out, because we had some issues in Zimbabwe 25 years ago where these commercial farmers, who were mostly white, were being chased out of Zimbabwe or were having their land confiscated, by the government. So what they did was they relocated to places like Zambia, in New Zealand, Australia, the UK. They left the country because all these other countries was hearing about what was going on in Zimbabwe, and they heard that, Zimbabwe's got really good farmers, so why don't we poach these farmers that are being chased out of Zimbabwe and bring them to New Zealand? So our loss in Zimbabwe became New Zealand's gain. Was it fair for Zimbabwe? Hell no. But guess what though? The roles about to reverse. America's loss is about to be Africa's win. But let's have a win-win where you're reaching out to these American farmers that were farming soybeans for years. Like this guy right here. This guy is probably like 10 times better than most 99% of soybean farmers in Africa right now. Because he's been doing it for a long time. He knows how to bring in massive efficiencies. And look at that machine that he's got in the back over there. This machine is probably worth $500,000. So if you're a soybean farmer already in Africa, you're doing it on a small scale, you have the land, go reach out to your local government. Go ask them, hey, what is the process for getting an American to come over here, invest in my country, because I got all this land. You know, the Chinese need the soybeans. Let me recruit the Americans to come and help me farm the soybeans and let's make this money together. As soon as you tell this guy that, hey man, come farm with me in Africa, let's make this money for the Chinese, this guy is listening to you. Because what he understands is the money. At the end of the day, nobody cares what you look like. Everybody cares about how to make this money and support their family, guys. That's what they care about. This is the massive opportunity that I need you guys to understand is available now because of this. This is not a disaster. This is a massive opportunity for all of us in this game.
I got to farm with my dad every day. It's a way of life. It's a wonderful way of life.
You see, it's a wonderful way of life. Do you hear the passion in this man's voice? You telling me that if you're a soybean farmer in Zambia, you can't work with the guy who's passionate about soybeans like this guy? Of course you can. This guy, you can change this guy's life.
And it's at risk. And it shouldn't be.
Imagine waking up to a world where China and Africa have quietly built one of the biggest soybean projects the world has ever seen. And America didn't see it coming. Right now, U.S. farmers are watching in shock as Africa opens its doors to China, forming an
This guy can afford, I'm telling you, these Americans, they can afford to relocate very easily to a place like Zambia, South Africa. It won't cost them very much. Okay? Then you organize with the local government, whatever regulations or laws of your country that you're trying to operate in. You negotiate like sweet deals for them and be like, okay, maybe can we see if there are rules in place that we can offer to do tax breaks. I don't know, whatever, like look it up. Ask if there are any tax breaks, whatever. And then educate someone like him. Tell him, okay, I just discovered that if you come into farming in Zambia, you growing soybeans, you can get offered like a whole year tax break. You don't pay taxes for a whole year. I don't know what the rules and regulations are in Zambia, but don't quote me on this. I'm just saying, look it up if you're a soybean farmer. If you're a businessman, look it up as well. This is a massive opportunity for middlemen as well. If you're a broker, if you're Zambian, if you're operating in the Zambian market, if you're operating in the South African market, this is a massive opportunity for you.
agricultural alliance that could rewrite the global food market. For decades, the U.S. believed it controlled the soybean industry, but this new partnership is shaking that confidence to the core. Picture massive African farmlands being powered by Chinese investment, Chinese machines, and Chinese technology, producing millions of tons of soybeans that once came from American soil. And as these new harvests rise, U.S. farmers are calling it a disaster, fearing...
Again, the Americans are the experts at farming soybeans. And that's why they export it to the Chinese. The Chinese are not an expert at farming soybeans. That's why they're importing soybeans. So why not just collaborate with the Americans? Because the Chinese are all they're offering is a lot of infrastructure and equipment. So everybody can win in this. Everybody can win in this. Look at these guys. They'll be so open-minded. Not all of them, but some will be open-minded to it.
Lost markets, falling prices. and a future where America is no longer the world's soybean leader. This isn't just a farming story. This is a global power shift, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. Stay with me, because what China and Africa just did could change the world economy forever. The world has entered a new era of agricultural power, and almost no one saw it coming. For decades, soybeans have been one of America's most important crops, a symbol of its farming strength and a foundation of its global trade influence. But today, something historic is happening thousands of miles away. China, the world's largest buyer of soybeans, has just teamed up with Africa, the continent with some of the richest, undeveloped farmland on Earth. Together, they're building giant soybean farms, reshaping markets, and creating a shift that U.S. farmers are calling a full-blown disaster.
You see what the Chinese are doing? The Chinese are offering equipment and all this stuff, but they're still not experts at soybean farming. All they're doing is importing. The experts are farming are the Americans, guys. Do you see what's going on here? This is why I'm saying it's a massive opportunity for you guys. If you're ready to collaborate with the Americans, who are the experts at the farming, bring them over here into Africa, help them set up in Africa, with the equipment that's coming from China, or some equipment that's coming from America, of course, that they're importing here into Africa. If you're ready to set up the whole system here, but only if you're serious, schedule time. I'll put a link in the description of this video. This will be a paid consultation. When you're scheduling a call with me, it means you're serious, you're ready to take the next step. You already watched the content, you understand the concept that I'm talking about, you understand how to get to the money. Because how to get to the money is by solving real world problems. And this is a real world problem that's happening in real time. And also how you solve real world problems by looking for the win-win. How do you make everybody win? How do you make the Chinese win? Well, you make the Chinese win by making sure you're delivering. Okay? Not just taking the equipment, but delivering. Guess who knows how to deliver? The Americans know how to deliver. So get the Americans involved. And you win as well, because you control the land. If you're ready to work with the best, schedule time. We can come up with the whole concept so you can win. I'll tell you exactly how to communicate to the Americans, how to convince the Americans to come to Africa. It's not very difficult at all. It's actually easier than ever. Schedule time. Talk to you soon.